Nowadays, technology is the future for every child in the world. We have noticed that the technology here in El Salvador is a bit limited, especially when we're talking about public schools. The people who are using the technology are high income people. This is why we have created this program to help reduce the digital division in El Salvador. This is going to be done with the help of donators that will give their old computers to our cause. When by doing this, we're increasing the educational level of El Salvador, and at the same time, we're slightly reducing the e-waste created by our country. There's a program called One Laptop Per Child, and we have found this non-useful for various reasons. The reasons for these decisions and the details for the possible problems and solutions are going to be discussed later on the video.
The IT that will accept and won't accept from donators. Basically, any people here in El Salvador or from other countries will become our donators. We are finding any style of computer that will no longer be used that is in good conditions. We won't have any preference between laptops or desk computers, as we will sort each computer and make sure each school gets similar ones. In other words, we won't allow that a school get a laptop or a desk computer. It would be one or the other. The operating system we would accept by the donators is any Windows operating system. It does not matter if it's Windows XP, Vista, or Windows 7. Any of them are going to be useful. As an organization, we'll make sure that every computer's operating system will be deleted, and we would install a free operating system called Linux. As we said before, this is an operating system that requires minimum of requirements, such as it must be a personal computer with an Intel Pentium of 500 megahertz or higher processor, 512 megabytes of physical RAM. This is why we're asking for computers with a minimum requirement of 70 gigabytes of hard disk, enough to install Linux as an operating system, and plenty of space for creating documents or giving a basic use to a computer. We would like a computer of a minimum of 512 megabytes of RAM, as this will allow the necessary programs to run in the computer with no problem. The minimum processor we are accepting is of 1.5 GHz, and this will allow the programs to run faster. And finally, we would like a computer that has an internet connection of 512 kilobytes per second to have a relatively fast connection. We must say that any computer above the minimum requirements are going to be accepted, and we won't accept any computer that is below the minimum regulations mentioned above, as it would be an extra cost to us to upgrade its system requirements. We won't accept any Apple computers as they are expensive and it's very hard to update the softwares and hardwares of this operating system.
Extra hardware and software purchases needed to support the IT in schools. Those computers are only going to be used for educational purpose, and because of this, the use is going to be very basic. As we said before, Linux will be installed as an operating system, which you could find in the internet. We are substituting Microsoft Office with a program called OpenOffice. Again, this is a free open software that is found in the internet for download with no problem and no cost at all. OpenOffice will provide us access to similar programs to Excel to produce some spreadsheets, Word to produce Word documents, and PowerPoint to make digital presentations that could be used for oral assessments. For schools to be able to use the internet, we're downloading a software called Mozilla Firefox that could be found on the internet for download with no cost. We have chosen these types of products as it is cheaper and better for education. Any update that is made to the software by the developers can be downloaded with no difficulty from the internet. By doing this, you're making sure that no illegal copies are being distributed, as we don't need any licenses to the softwares. You can make lots of copies for the different schools with no problem, and the schools become safe because in case the government checks the softwares, they're completely legal. Computers are also going to be installed with Adobe Reader to be able to download PDF files for education, and with McAfee antivirus for protection. Again, every software for the computers are completely free.
Solutions to general challenges of the digital divide. The digital divide is a problem around the globe. It is when people who can afford digital benefits for any use, such as education, against people who can't afford a computer. Digital divide can be caused by many reasons, such as government restrictions. Some governments around the world, like Cuba or China, might be against the use of technology, especially because of the internet. However, there are many things we can do so governments know that technology is becoming an essential part of every person's life. For this, we have thought that we could create a pressure group. This pressure group, just like Amnesty International or Greenpeace, could raise awareness of the use of technology in schools, and hopefully with the help of pressure groups, governments might change their idea about computers and internet and later be used in public schools.
Solutions to general challenges of digital divide. The lack of finance. This could be a potential problem as many of the schools we are giving all these are public schools. To raise money so these schools are able to install wireless internet or to improve their facilities, we are designing a general campaign to raise money for improvement. And also this money could be used to give monthly maintenance to all the computers. All the money we collect from the donators is going to be equally divided into all the schools we're able to help. And since these computers will have free softwares, there will not be much to spend but the monthly use of electricity or internet connection. And to reduce the cost, we could hire the cheapest service.
Language or lack of. Before handing the computers to schools, we as an NGO are going to make sure every computer with Linux operating system will be in Spanish, as well as open office softwares, internet browsers, and antiviruses.
Dexterity and mobility. Dexterity and mobility occurs when people are unable to use the keyboard or mouse as they lack the experience of using these types of technologies. In this case, the children which are getting the computers maybe have never used any of this before or very little use, which means that they don't have the experience on using the keyboards, so the first time they will get the computer, it will be likely that they will type only with one finger, for example, instead of using all 10 fingers in their hand. Dexterity and mobility is a problem we could face, but as they get more experience in how to use the computers, dexterity and mobility slowly will be eliminated. It's just a matter of time.
Lack of interest. In this case, lack of interest could be a problem. We must remember that we are dealing with teenagers that have never used or seen a computer, so it's not something of their everyday scholar survival, which means that a lack of interest will be evident. However, there could be a motivation that could help the lack of interest to diminish without a cost. An example of motivation to these kids that could be provided by us is that in every graduating year for the student that shows the most interest and have learned the most, a computer will be given to them. Lack of interest could not be a problem to little kids as they are going to be excited to try new things and to live with this technology throughout all the school time. So they will get the use of computers as a new and exciting experience as they are going to grow with computers.
The lack of IT training. Lack of IT training will be an obvious problem. Teachers will need to be trained so they're able to use the computers and also teach how to use them, as they may have low learning experience on this area. There are two possible solutions we can follow that they're relatively cheap. The first one could be pay an online tutorial so teachers could get to know the program before they teach anything. However, by doing this, there could be the possibility that these teachers are not able to have internet connection. This is why we have also thought of another way to the lack of IT training could be decreased. This is by paying a professional that could teach teachers how to use it. This could be done on a local university that have enough space and have facilities.